vinyl friends and vinyl community. Brian from Brian's Vinyl Records, and I'm doing a contest entry for Steve Carlson, vinyl community Steve Carlson. He 1 year ago had a major flood in his hometown that ruined his record room, and he lost a large percent, almost all of his record collection. After that happened, we as a community pulled together not only to raise money for him to help with everything that he needed to while his house was being kind of looked at, repaired, but also to help him regenerate some of his vinyl collection. Many of us also sent records to him as well as kind of an appreciation for everything he does for the vinyl community, his Sunday morning shows. I don't comment a lot on Steve's video because a lot of the stuff he shows are things that I don't really listen to on a regular basis, a lot of jazz and interesting stuff, but I always find his videos fascinating and enjoy watching them. So Steve, this is for you. He's doing a contest where he wants you to show 4 albums that you didn't really know about but someone had introduced you to and it kind of changed you, or musical interests or anything like that. So I pulled 4 albums out here. Some of them have been introduced to me by fellow VC members or VC videos, others from outside the VC. And we'll start with the first one, which is from outside the VC. I joined a band in 2012 with my cousin at the time, he's always my cousin, but he's no longer with us, and my good friend Matt, who I helped teach guitar back in high school. And we had jammed for years in my barn on the farm I grew up on, just playing all sorts of stuff, heavy metal music, rock, all sorts of stuff. We had a great time as kids growing up. But in the years following, kind of drifted away from that. They continued to play, and they had formed a band, and they were looking to bring in another guitar player and reached out to me, and I was touched by that and all that. But one of the things for that was we were going to be a country rock band, country band, and one of the songs that we had to learn was from a band called Blackberry Smoke. Good one comes off of this record. Now, I'd never heard of Blackberry Smoke at the time, so I learned the song, and then Matt encouraged me to get the album and listen to it, and I did, and absolutely fell in love with this band. These guys are now my favorite current act and my second favorite band of all time. I mean, that's how much I really love this music. So Matt, thank you for introducing me to this Blackberry Smoke. These guys are a phenomenal southern country rock band, and Matt and I went to see them live together. Funny thing is, while we were in the band, every time they would come through, we would be playing a show. So we could never, ever go see them live, and it always irked us. Well, once the band had finally, decided to call it quits, they came the next year, and I said, dude, we need to go see these guys live. And I got tickets, and it was me and Matt and his father, and then I brought my son with to see him, and it was an amazing show. I've seen them three more times after that show, and every time they just put on killer shows. So highly recommend Blackberry Smoke if you're not familiar with them and you like that southern country rock genre. These guys are smoking. Great guitars, great vocals, great everything. And live, one of the tightest bands I've ever seen. Fantastic. So that's number 1. For number 2, this is an artist that a guy worked with, tried so hard for so long to get me to listen to, and just thought, if I just listen to it, I'm going to like it, because he knew I was a singer-songwriter and into that kind of vibe. He thought this would be perfect for me, and I always put it off. And mainly because a lot of times he would say he's a great songwriter like Ryan Adams. So I'm not a big Ryan Adams guy. I never really got into Ryan Adams personally, so I kept putting it off. And then one day, the album came up on, I think it was Amazon, and it was just discounted a ton. So I said, okay, I'm going to finally buy it and see what it's all about. So I bought it, and life-changing, man. I'm talking about Jason Isbell, Southeastern. Phenomenal record. Songwriting is top-notch. I probably my favorite songwriter ever now. And because of that, I fell in love with this type of music, alt country type of music, his wife, Amanda Shires. I really have gotten into her music and just so many things. Cody Jinks because of this. Just a ton out there. And just, wow, absolutely fantastic. And so I thank Rodney, my coworker, for introducing me to Jason Isbell. All right, this one comes directly from the VC because I saw so many people, and not that I shouldn't have listened to this artist before. He's been around obviously forever and all that, but I never gave much credence to listening to his music just because I don't know, I just, at the time I thought his voice was weird and never got into it. But Record Store Day came around and this was one of the records that were there, and I thought, well, why not? Let's give it a try. It was a total whim purchase, and I'm talking about Bob Dylan. So everyone, not everyone, but a ton of people in the VC just absolutely love Bob Dylan. And for the life of me, I think it was maybe my dad's influence telling me that his voice was just terrible. You'd never listen to him. He stinks, whatever, growing up. I never really gave him a chance. Now, I've been playing Knocking on Heaven's Door in my bands and acoustically for years. Mostly because I liked the Guns N' Roses version growing up. But when I finally sat down and picked this up and listened to it, man, I was blown away by this. This is the Record Store Day test press of Blood on the Tracks, which is by far my favorite Bob Dylan album. I just absolutely love everything on here, and I really love this version of the record. The original is, better, but this is really, really good. And man, I've now become a huge Bob Dylan fan, and I've got almost all of his albums now on vinyl, and am looking to add more and more as I see them. And yeah, so thank you, VC, for making me branch out a little bit and actually pick up a Bob Dylan album, and I'm just super happy about it. Last but certainly not least, I had the owner of a record label called Sofa King Vinyl, great name by the way, reach out to me and offer to send me some albums for free if I did a review on them. This was back when I was only blogging and not doing YouTube videos. So I got the first set of albums from them, and I really, really like them. They're electronica music, new wave, synth pop, things like that, and just really enjoyed it. And he reached out to me again a couple years later, after I had established this channel and had a following on Instagram and things like that, and asked if I'd be willing to do one more. And I said, absolutely, that sounds great. And he sent me this. This is the Motion Epic West Coast Dreams. Man, I put it on and I was just like, wow, so good. This is, 80s synth pop extraordinaire. Like, this takes you back. If you were a kid growing up in the 80s and you heard all that type of music coming out, and this just takes you right back to that time. Absolutely amazing album. Amazing artist. And so much so that I've already pre-ordered his next album, which comes out, I believe, end of this month. So I'm super stoked to be getting that on vinyl as well. But this is awesome. If you haven't had a chance, check out the Motion Epic West Coast Dreams. If you're a huge fan of that 80s sound, that synth poppy sound, you're going to love this. He has a cover of Michael Jackson's Human Nature, which is really fantastic. So highly recommended. Check it out. It's so good. So good. So there you have it. That's 4 albums that I was kind of introduced to by people in the VC or people out in my friends area that really kind of changed my musical appreciation for different genres, different groups, different all sorts of things. So Steve, I'm so glad to see that a year later things are going well. You're rebuilding and you're getting your vinyl collection the way you wanted it. And I know it's hard when you have 11,000 or however many vinyl records you had and have to start over again. But I like your approach. I like your idea of curating a record collection that you're going to love instead of just buying things to buy things. And I've actually taken that into practice myself lately and have been trying to curate my collection to the albums that I really find that I need or want or have a connection with, more so than just going out and buying things to buy things. So thank you for that. good luck with everything. I hope your basement does get finished sooner than later and you're able to enjoy that space once again. But yeah, so happy to see things are going well. That's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Check out Steve's contest below. There are entries for people who just want to list them in the comments. There's entries for people who want to make a video, and the prizes are really, really cool. So check it out. Thanks, Steve. Until next time, keep spinning vinyl, friends.